Hey everybody, how you doing? It's been a while since I talked about the Las Vegas economy. Well, okay, a few days, right? A few days. We had Ayad Booney on to talk about the Las Vegas economy, and not directly, but indirectly through the discussion of the construction of the Oakland Athletics, as I'm going to call the Oakland Athletics until they actually relocate to Las Vegas and start playing their ballpark on the Las Vegas Strip. A facility that's coming along, I argue, just slightly ahead of schedule, and when it's finished, will have a dramatic impact on the Las Vegas economy. Then, of course, just up the street from the ballpark is Sphere. And you know that it's right behind me. It's actually here, okay? You know, Sphere has had an equally dramatic impact on Las Vegas economy, drawing tourists from far and wide to see this unusual orb-shaped building that is the size of 20 stories and looks like it came out of the Keanu Reeves version, the remake of The Day the Earth Stood Still. Remember that movie? And so it actually is a good movie that kind of grows on you, right? And then, of course, we have the gigantic Hard Rock Hotel and Tower that's taking the place of the legendary Mirage as I speak. And so all of these spell great, 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 great future developments to look forward to that are under construction now. But right now, the Las Vegas economy is in trouble, and that's not in any small measure due to the tariffs imposed by Donald Trump, President Trump. The tariffs, particularly the Canadian tariffs, have slowed the visitation of Canadian tourists to Las Vegas almost to zero. And by my estimation, between the first 6 months of last year, January out to July, which is really 7th, but you start the 6-4, right? You we saw that the equivalent of 6,853 hotel rooms were eliminated from Las Vegas rolls because Canadians were not visiting Sin City because of the tariffs. Now, the amount of money that adds up to, well, depends on the average rule of thumb of, of room rate. So let's say the average room rate is somewhere in the neighborhood of $183, right? So we'll say, hey, Google, what's 183 times 6,853?
183 times 6,853 is 1,254,099.
Right. So that much money, that much money is lost to hotels on a daily basis. That amount of money is lost on a daily basis. That's $1.2 million lost every single day that Canadians are not in Las Vegas filling up those 6,853 rooms. That's huge. All right. That's huge. And on top of that, we have not only Canadians that have been impacted, but also Mexico and Europe and, well, basically the whole world, China and Japan too. It's a choke chain that has been thrown around the Las Vegas tourism economy, and there's no other way to describe it. Las Vegas has really suffered from this, on top of the fact that Las Vegas didn't get the bailout that President Trump promised his first term. And unfortunately, Joe Biden, as president, didn't follow up and say, you know what? We need to make sure that Las Vegas gets an appropriate level of recovery money. That didn't happen. So we've had scores of businesses closing in Las Vegas. We've had a dramatic increased number of homeless people. We've had continued price gouging, which has caused hotels to suffer in terms of occupancy. We've had a number of iconic places all but empty. You try to go there, there's all this space, and yet they're charging you the same price as if people were, flowing in to visit, right? No. I mean, all of this has been the work of the Trump tariffs. All of it. So today, the Supreme Court said, finally, that Donald Trump overstepped his authority as president of the United States by imposing these tariffs. Told you. And even though Donald Trump said, well, basically he's not going to pay it. He's not saying he's not going to pay attention to them, but he believes he can find a workaround. Well, it's easier to say you're going to do that than do it. The bottom line is that the Supreme Court has said that tariffs, as he wants them, are against the law. Now, if Trump went to go to Congress and make his case to Congress and hope that Congress backs him, fine. But the reality is that tariffs have had a negative impact on the quality of life in the United States. Just take coffee. A year ago, I would say a year and a half ago, coffee could be bought for, say, $8 a can, standard size. If you're lucky, $7 at Kroger here or Albertsons. But today, that same can is going to cost you $15 at Kroger's. $15. I repeat, $15. All right, it's going to cost you that much money. And so, because I have had this on video, I've shown people what it costs, and it's absolutely outrageous what people are being asked to pay. I mean, it just absolutely is. And so this is all a situation that now should come to an end. So what's going to happen to the Las Vegas economy when it does? It'll soar. You don't believe me about some of the coffee prices? Even though the video that I have isn't Las Vegas, that shows it applies to Las Vegas. And I will give you a taste of what others have been experiencing as consumers, because it's not talked about. The idea is, and Trump is trying to give you the idea that the consumer really benefited from his tariffs, and the consumer has not. Just not at all a place. I'm going to show you right here. If I can go back here, I'm going to tee this up and line up this this video. I'm trying to get it to line up to where it comes out right where the coffee is, right? So I'm clicking on it, and let's see if it's taking me there. Or I have to go forward here, and got there and there and there, and here, I believe I found it. Yeah, I did find it. And then I'll freeze this. See, I'll freeze this, then I'll show you this scene from my blog. Hey, everybody, how you doing? And you'll get an idea of what people have been experiencing around the country because of tariffs, because of these tariffs, and have been experiencing in Las Vegas. Let me change the settings here so you can appropriately hear this video. And now I'll turn it on. Give a listen to this, folks, right here. This. It's $1.49. Trump talks about lowering coffee prices. Excuse me? No. And yes, I did try out to be on The Apprentice, and I'm proud of it. I didn't make it. All right, that was another time. And another Trump too. I think. Anyway, look at this. $16.49. Isn't that 16 bucks? Look. See, I would pay $8 a year plus to go for these. All right. This is ridiculous. But I gotta get coffee from mom. So what do? Bite the bullet. This is an everyday low price. Are you kidding me? This is a joke. An everyday low price. Maxwell House. That's the same. This is lower. All right. 100% Colombian coffee. All right. Hey, look at that. It used to be Kroger was the cheap. Well, Kroger is the cheapest. Yep, you get the idea. But folks, with the end of the Trump tariffs, guess what? Those prices will come down. You'll have more disposable income to use to go out to dinner in the Las Vegas Strip, to gamble, to enjoy life. It's going to be a new day once the tariffs are ended and we're able to get back to a normal situation. Now, the question is, how long is that going to take? And the answer, I believe, is going to be a lot shorter than a couple of years. I think there are so many politicians, so many elected officials that are going to be answering the hue and cry, the cacophony of people saying, hey, look, get rid of these tariffs now, get my money back in my pocket because I paid out and I deserve my fair share, that they're going to be rushing and saying through their town halls to their people, we're going to get this done yesterday. And you're going to see a dramatic change and turnaround. I don't think it's going to be the mess that other people think it is. It's a necessary do because the tariffs had no business being applied. They really didn't. We're not broke to the point where we need to raise money that way. We've got a great flow of money coming in, and a lot of people really lie about the United States economic position for political reasons. That's just the absolute sad fact. Absolute truth is that the economy was doing well until Trump came in and fired hundreds of thousands of federal workers. True, he did. Which does what? When you take they're being paid money, but you take money away from them, that's money that they can't put into the economy. So who gets hurt? Not just them, but the entire United States economy. So that's one negative pressure. Then, of course, there's the tariff pressure because people don't have as much disposable income because of the jacked up prices due to these tariffs, because you're applying them on outside goods. We as the United States don't have a manufacturing apparatus to replace those goods easily and services. So guess what happens? We wind up paying the higher cost. We see that in coffee. All right, we see that in coffee. We wind up paying the higher cost. And if you don't believe, that example, I have another one. I interviewed a business owner husband and wife business owner that were impacted by tariffs, and explain how they affected coffee from their end. And I will show you that right here. They are the owners of a great cafe.
Yeah.
And what happens, folks, we're at First Friday called Java and Brie, and you're about to meet this group. And this could just as easily be in Las Vegas, all right? This is a nationwide problem of which that really negatively affects Las Vegas more than other regions, because Las Vegas depends on what? Visitors, right? But let me show you this couple here that I had the pleasure of interviewing right here. Listen to this. And then if you're saying the sound is a little jinky, I had to take it off echo cancellation so you could hear this video here. I overheard her talking about it. I said, I got to interview you. So, Janice?
Hi, yeah, we were talking about the impact of the tariffs in our small business. We were talking about how a bag of green beans, 150 pounds of green beans, went from $550, $560 to about $800 back within months, which affects the businesses and also how we process those extra costs. And to the customer, and sometimes just having to take it all on our own as small businesses. Yeah.
But you said $550 to $800?
Yes.
Did I hear that?
Yeah.
Wow. Could you repeat that?
Yes, absolutely. It went from $550 for 150 pounds of coffee a green coffee to $850. The same origin, the same coffee, and we had to stop complete purchasing of Brazil coffee because Brazil was hit with the highest tariff. So we stopped having to carry one of our favorite coffees because of that.
And I think a point to put out is to just think about consistency. You know, if we as small businesses were even positioned to put that cost onto the customer, imagine going into a coffee shop one day and finding out that your white chocolate mocha was $5, and then today it's $8. You know, as a business, we can't do that because then you lose that customer. Because, you know, why would I this inconsistency? I don't know what I'm going to pay at a coffee shop. So when you have these high percentages of increase in our coffee, we have to eat the cost.
It also affects the cost of your business. Have you been able to maintain people, or is it harder?
I mean, for the most part, yes, it's been hard. It's been consistent with the employees. We do have a big turnaround as a small business, but thankfully we have found some great people to be part of our team. Yeah.
Hey folks, you gotta check out their coffee. It's really good. This is at 240 Glen Street here in Fayetteville, Georgia. Coffee and Breathe. Come by, buy their coffee, help them stay afloat, and please drop the tariffs, right?
Yes, drop the tariffs.
Let's just find some consistency.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
Hey, thank you for your time.
Of course, thank you so much.
Subscribe to Zennie62 on YouTube and bookmark ZennieReport.com. Thanks. Okay, see you. Yeah, so you can see how people have been. Oh, and thank you for the super sticker, by the way. It's very nice. You can see how people have been impacted by these tariffs negatively. And again, this is a nationwide problem. I'm going to turn on the echo cancellation. This is a nationwide problem. Now, Las Vegas, again, is hit two ways. It's not just goods and services affecting the locals' pocketbook when they go to buy, for example, coffee, but also it's potential visitors to Las Vegas who are less likely to visit Las Vegas because their money is tied up in paying extra, for high coffee, right? So again, it throws two choke chains around the Vegas economy because of what the businesses are charging or have to charge in Las Vegas. And then, of course, those similar businesses elsewhere throwing a choke chain around what those people can spend and basically taking away extra dollars that would cause them to say, hey, you know what? Let's fly to Las Vegas and gamble and win. Well, a lot less of that has been happening. And then on top of that, here's the third whammy. The third whammy is international travel, where the tariff itself and its payment, its application, makes it prohibitively expensive for people from overseas to travel and visit Las Vegas. So you have three factors here. You've got the local higher cost of the store in Las Vegas. You've got the higher cost to shop for people who would visit Las Vegas. And then you've got, who are local, who are domestic. Then you've got the international component, which really applies because the tariffs apply to them, all right, and their goods and services. And the idea is to make America more competitive from that end. But how does it make it more competitive? It only makes the prices higher. All right. There's an example of a steel maker in Georgia who said that they can now charge $150 for people to buy because they don't have the tariff applied, or because they have the tariff rather that's applied on the goods that are coming in, but you would think that they would say, hey, look, our prices can be more competitive. No, they were actually using that as a reason to get, gouge people. Well, guess what? Take the tariff away, and the prices will settle to where they should be, and consumers are more easily able to afford them. All right. So you've got, again, the consumer being impacted that way. the consumer, the international consumer, being less likely to travel, and then of course locals less likely to get out and spend money, because when they do spend money, a lot of it goes to higher priced goods and services that you normally spend just to have a life in Las Vegas or wherever you happen to be. But in this case, we're talking about Las Vegas. So all of those matters um, are impacted by the Supreme Court action. And unless President Trump, is made to stop focusing on how, like, the newest way to ruin the lives of people in terms of policy, unless that doesn't happen, it's going to be a bit of a slower impact on the decision. But again, I contend that there are enough people and businesses around that are putting out this hue and cry for Trump to stop the tariffs, and also for him to pay back the money that they believe that he got in an ill-gotten way, that it will accelerate this transformation back to the economy we had before the tariffs were imposed. Now, all we have to do is wait and see if that actually happens, but it really is, the talk that it's going to happen is already occurring, folks. It really is. Um, Trump is doing this kind of saber rattling talk about what he can do, but everybody knows that when the Supreme Court says that what you're doing is unconstitutional, it places a black mark on that action. You're less popular, the activity is less popular, and everything just sort of settles to the way that it was before we all got involved at this granular level talking about financing. Um, um, uh, or not financing, talking about the granular level, talking about the tariffs that have been applied by the Trump administration on Canada and Mexico and other incoming areas, and also the impact that that has on locals who have to pay higher prices because such things as coffee beans are jacked up. All right. So that's what we're talking about here. We're talking about a situation that's fixable. I believe it will be fixed. And I think the Las Vegas economy, not this year, but I do believe next year, will soar to 44 million in visitors. I think it will completely rebound as long as Stephen Hill and the Las Vegas and Nevada government minders keep that consumer focus, keep the pressure on Washington, and make absolutely certain that their businesses are afloat to enjoy the new demand that will come forward because of these tariffs going away. Mark my words, all right. Hey, subscribe to Zennie62 on YouTube and bookmark CESLasVegasNews.com. If you have any questions, write them in the comments section. All right, see you.